Hey there, Intelligent Automation community. Josh Noble back for another episode. I'll get back to our normal flow of how these videos typically work over the weekend, so tune back in there. But Blue Prism just wrapped our fiscal 2020, and I thought it might be interesting to take a look back at what happened in the intelligent automation space, big picture-wise, over the course of the past year. Of course, you have companies that might have not been prioritizing intelligent automation in 2019 that had a big shift in strategy when COVID-19 hit and the world shut down. That reliance on digital workers became a little bit more important at that point. Of course, the role of business process outsourcers and contact center operations changed forever when employees were shifted to work from home and cut off from their typical infrastructure. And then you actually had the U.S. Small Business Administration put RPA in the headlines when software robots supposedly overwhelmed the E-Tran loan system. I think what we can all agree on is this seemed to be the year of investment in acquisition from a macro perspective across the intelligent automation space. This kicked off back in November of 2019 when open source RPA provider RoboCorp raised $5.6 million in seed funding, followed by Celonis raising $290 million in a Series C for their process mining technology. Then we jump forward to January, and other vendors are getting on board. Appian acquired the parent company of Jidoka, a small Java-based RPA technology. And then we jump to the spring. China-based RPA pure play Incotech, I hope I said that right, raised $30 million in Series B funding. Then we have process intelligent company Fortress IQ. They raised $30 million as a Series B. And as the biggest news of the year, Microsoft acquired SoftMotive, which produced Win Automation. This is a really well-known desktop automation tool that I've been using for years, and you might have used it as well. It's a great middle ground technology between what we found with, say, desktop macros and a full-blown RPA technology. This summer, Jiffy AI raised $18 million in a Series A round. IBM acquired Brazilian-based RPA developer WDG Automation, and Hyperscience brought in the first two 2020 funding rounds that totaled $140 million in investment. Then over the last couple months, we have Highland Software that acquired RPA technology Another Monday, and Nintex acquired K2 Software. That one's going to be particularly interesting to watch over the following year, as the cultural matchup is a little interesting. When I lived in the Microsoft partner ecosystem, Nintex and K2 were pretty much the biggest crosstown rivals that you could find around the Microsoft ecosystem in automation. So now most business process management companies own an RPA technology. It's going to be really interesting to watch how each vendor nurtures their new IP. The way I see it, it's going to fall into, two categories.
You get the ice, I'll get the ice man.
While none of the business process management companies that are swallowing up small RPA vendors disclose the actual acquisition price, most seem to be in the $15 to maximum $30 million acquisition range. Consequently, I suspect we'll probably see a couple situations where the RPA acquisition was just simply done to tick a box with industry analysts. I guess that means we could actually see a couple instances of this.
Where were the other drugs going?
I never knew that. Wait, what?
I said, where are the other drugs going?
Why are you talking like that?
The SoftMotive acquisition was the one outlier on this acquisition price. Most of the folks that I speak with within the industry assess that this was probably in the $80 to $100 million price range. And at that point, in my opinion, this was a great acquisition by Microsoft. It's already disrupting vendors that are pitching the record a macro but call it a robot type of sales pitch. Meanwhile, out of Microsoft's 70,000 partners, Blue Prism's moved to the top 200 within 2020. Okay, so over to Blue Prism developments for the year. Of course, we started by leveraging the acquisition of Thoughtonomy to create and launch Blue Prism Cloud. Then we took some of the proprietary capabilities that were within Blue Prism Cloud and made them available as standalone cloud-based subscription capabilities that could connect to the on-premise instance of Blue Prism. For example, the web-based framework around Blue Prism Cloud Hub. As we moved throughout the year, we also made those web-based capabilities available completely on-premise. So Hub is available on-premise. We launched Interact, a new solution for attended automation, and we launched Decipher, intelligent document processing. We also launched 400 SAP accelerators. These are pre-built automations for the 400 most commonly used SAP T-codes. Of course, we know that intelligent automation, or 2020's most misused term, hyper-automation, requires a range of connected technologies, and this is why we launched Blue Prism's Digital Exchange Marketplace in 2018. Over the past year, Blue Prism's Digital Exchange jumped from 400 to 1,700 assets. We jumped from 60 to 100 technology alliance partners. We have best-of-breed technologies like Abby, Reveal Group, Ultima, RPA Supervisor, Shibumi, Solonis, that can all be purchased through the digital exchange under one contract. And we enabled every Blue Prism customer to set up their own private digital exchange so that it's easier to share consistent, reusable, approved assets across teams that are all building different automations. As a personal cool favorite, we set up Sergey, a digital worker that constantly reviews and updates cloud-based AI skills through the digital exchange. We had a dozen different features from the Ideas portal that were incorporated into the Blue Prism platform. And we launched the Blue Prism Community MVP program. On top of all of this, Blue Prism donated licenses and service hours to over 80 companies and government agencies that needed help to maintain operations when COVID first hit. Of course, Blue Prism is still the only publicly traded pure-play developer of robotic process automation technology. Despite a couple other vendors, noteworthy one, continuing to claim that they're going to go IPO, despite firing their internal audit team and not really having an actual plan on that other than trying to get market attention. But anyway, Blue Prism, eventually all the things I've covered needs to result in value for our customers as well as our shareholders. The annual audit isn't quite complete, but I'm fairly confident to share that Blue Prism's 2020 earnings were...
Disclaimer. Blue Prism is a publicly traded company. This video series is for entertainment purposes only and does not reflect an official statement of Blue Prism's annual results. Please refer to Blue Prism's financial calendar for investor updates.
And now that you know Blue Prism's full 2020 fiscal results, I'd like to take a second to give a shout out to my 1,000+ colleagues that came together virtually this year and found new ways to work together, communicate together, and come together as a team. While the meditation and mindfulness sessions we were hosting weren't really in my wheelhouse, the cooking classes from our former professional semi-pro chef turned head of the U.S. customer office, those were pretty good.
I want to serve that with a cream sauce, but I'm going to spice that cream sauce up with a little bit of pesto that I made earlier. Just some pine nuts, some garlic, parmesan, olive oil, and some salt. Then we're good to go. And some basil.
And yes, Jay, we get it. Your hair looks great, even in a smoke-filled kitchen. So it was also great to get together with everyone earlier this week internally during our FY 2021 global sales kickoff. Tons of new roadmap information about the company that hopefully everybody externally that's watching gets to hear over the next several weeks. And for my internal team, I look forward to getting back to doing these sessions, these kickoffs, all together in person. Although, after that 1 year in Edinburgh, I'm really shocked that you hooligans are legally allowed to be together at the same place as we descend on Vegas for the next kickoff. And finally, I know that 2020 put a lot of you out on the job hunt. Blue Prism is hiring for a lot of positions right now. These are primarily based around our core development and AI labs over in the UK, as well as sales and partner teams within the US and Australia. If you're interested, make sure to check out the Blue Prism careers page. As always, I'll put a link to this as well as everything else that I covered over in the comments below. Should be the first one. As always, have a great weekend. Thanks for tuning in.